Hello everybody, Shocking Sean here. I have the one and only Itto, the new character just came out, along with Goro, the new fox guy who just came out as well with him in the banner. And I want to discuss his best team in my personal opinion. I'll give out other suggestions as well that you could run with him if you are not into this team. But really, this game is about building teams you want, building characters that you like. By all means, pick whatever team you want. But here's why I think this is his best team. For one, uh, you need a sub DPS when you're running Arataki Itto because his damage mostly comes from his ultimate, and the Raiden Shogun fills that spot nicely, especially because when she uses her ultimate, it recharges everybody else's ultimate when she lands hits. So what you do is you ult with Arataki Itto, you use that up, and then you switch to Raiden Shogun, you ult with her, and then it charges up Arataki's ult again. You see, you just go back and forth between these two. And these two are your supports, of course, because Arataki Itto benefits from having more Geo characters. 3, namely. You don't need 4, you just need 3. And Goro and Zhongli, if you have them at high enough constellations, can act as your healers as well. Mine do. This is why I'm going to suggest other teams, because if you do not have high constellations on these two, you have no healer, which makes this team a little iffy. However, if you do have Goro at C4, this team works. You don't need Zhongli at C6. Goro at C4, if you have it, you might be able to get away with just him as your healer. But anyways, you throw Goro down, and then you put out the little field. You get a defense boost, a resistance to interruption, and Geo bonus damage when you throw down his little field. Then you switch to Zhongli, and then you get your shield out with him, shield on demand, which for me also heals, and an ult that petrifies that has a low cooldown. And then Goro has an ult which just follows you around, which is pretty much his banner, that deals Geo damage every once in a while, an AoE Geo damage effect. And Raiden Shogun, of course, her elemental skill lasts for 30 seconds. You just drop it, and then bam, you have electro damage for every time you hit an enemy directly. It doesn't work on shields, but it does work when you hit enemies directly. So when you're hitting enemies with your ult with Itto, you're getting an electro shield, and you have a shield on demand with Zhongli, and then you have Goro buffing people, and Zhongli also increases the amount of geo damage you do. So that's pretty much all the positives of this team. Now I will list the drawbacks of this team as well. I acknowledge that its biggest weakness is if it runs into, for instance, an electro shield. Shielded opponents in general are a nuisance, like the Abyss Mages. This team also wouldn't do great against the Thunder Herald of Abyss, but it would do fine against the Water Herald Abyss. However, I would just build a team with Ice for both of those situations if you could. Even Melt would do for, or sorry, I mean Evaporate, I think it's called. The one where it's when fire meets water for the Water Abyss Herald. But anyways, I'm getting a little off track. Let's focus on other teams you could do with Itto. So if you don't have a solid healer, you could throw on Barbara for your
We
fourth
can
here.
do this!
And if you have Itto, you probably have Goro, but sometimes you won't have Goro. But let's just pretend you don't have Goro. You could throw on Ningguang if you have her. You could throw on Noelle. I recommend you run at least one other Geo character, is my point here. You want a second Geo character. And then the Raiden Shogun, if you don't have her, some replacements for her could be Kujo Sara, because she also charges ult. Basically, for this slot, you want somebody who acts as a battery. You could put Bennett
I
in
won't
here.
hold you back.
Bennett is an
Much.
amazing support. Oh, it's called Vaporize, the effect, right, between fire and water. My bad, not evaporate, vaporize. And then with this team, you also get the evaporate status effect. great healing because now you have Barbara and Bennett. And the only downside actually I see with this team is you don't really have a good sub DPS. But Itto can still do a decent amount of damage without his ult. He's hard to kill, which is the biggest benefit to using him. If you have Jean, I highly recommend using
Ready
Jean
for
maybe
anything.
over Barbara. And then Jean could be your sub potentially if you build her as a physical DPS character with high attack. That's what I do with her. And yeah, if you don't have Goro, like I said, switch out anybody else for DPS. So how I look at this team is Itto, of course, is the main slot. Then you want an energy battery here for your second slot. You want potentially a third, or I'm sorry, yeah, you want a second Geo character in the third slot. And then you want a healer, somebody to keep your team alive in the fourth slot. Uh, those are my priorities. If you could do hybrids such as energy slash sub DPS or shielder slash or sorry support Geo whatever slash sub DPS like Ningguang. Ningguang would be a good sub DPS, and then healer, basically person to keep your team alive, and that's it. That's my breakdown. But again, my
Stay
favorite team
close and you
comp
will live.
is this, and I mix it
What
up
shall we do?
for when I need to take on certain opponents, but that's where I have like other characters such as my favorite combination actually in this whole game is uh Kazuha and Bennett. They just destroy everything. Bennett, Kazuha, Bennett, Ganyu, and Jean I think is like my favorite team overall to use. But Arataki Itto, very fun, very strong both in offense and defense. I highly recommend him for your main DPS if you're a free-to-play player because he is very safe. He's very hard to kill. However, he might not kill as fast as say Ganyu. Ganyu, in my opinion, is like a must-pull character. So yeah. Anyways, that's about it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you liked this video, and I'll catch you all next time. Shocking Sean out.